All right, I've been ranting and raving. I want to talk about the actual thing they can do. What would have been a smart decision? Um, and I'm making this video. This suggestion hopefully reaches its way to Sony execs. Anybody who's at Sony, if you do what I'm about to say Xbox should have done for this Seagate SSD bullshit, if you do that before the release of your PS5, or if you do it just by the end of the calendar year, by January of next year, and you release this thing I'm going to suggest, you'll kill the Xbox. You will kill the hardware instantly. There will be no reason at all to get an Xbox. So what was the thing that Microsoft should have done and that Sony should do to completely kill and undercut Microsoft? What they should have done is, instead of having those 2 slots for those SSD slots in there, by the way, there's only 2 slots. It's not like a motherboard that has like 6 or 8 SATA cables you can just keep plugging in different SSDs into. It's 2. If you buy 2 500 gigabytes, that's it. You don't get to also buy, you have to remove it constantly to put it in. Oh, well, I just have to plug it in. Okay, sure, but you only get 2. So you can't just keep them in there constantly. What would have been better? For them to literally have 2 separate USBs, or to use the same proprietary plug that this proprietary shell that it has. Instead of having that small little SSD, have a contraption, have a component that still that at the end of it still has that NVMe plug-in and plugs into the back of the Xbox. Then you open that up to reveal 1 or possibly 2 M.2 expansions. Just like, and I'll put it up here, a PCIe M.2 expansion. I should go to shopping. I can't go to shopping through all that. Right here, look at this. Look at this. This is great. For less than $10, you get this little thing that plugs into your PCIe slots in your computer. And you just snap on an M.2, the fastest SSD that you can have. You plug it in. These are only $10. This is a great, if you buy a motherboard that has a ton of extra slots you're not using, this is perfect. Perfect for gamers, perfect for somebody who has lots of video files or lots of editing. That's what they should have done here. They should have released a component, a piece of hardware that was, say, because it's proprietary and it's Xbox anyway, it's $49.99. You plug it in and you can attach your own NVMe SSD storage. Now, price to price, if you're paying $50 for this expansion and then you buy a terabyte thing for $150, it's a little more expensive than the actual SSD thing here. But the price of that SSD, that M.2, still has its own value. Separately, the hardware component, that PCIe NVMe expansion that the Xbox would have, and the M.2 that you bought to put inside that expansion are their own separate things that actually just, you could sell them for their own values, whatever they're actually worth. Well, is that expansion thing only devalued by like maybe 20, 30 bucks? Maybe if it's only like 10 or 20, so yeah, a used one you can get for probably 35, 40. If you're lucky, you could find it for $30 instead of 50. Yeah, that's great. It's a great thing. And then I can sell my M.2 because I could then, what this leaves is for, instead of me buying a 500 gigabyte of this and then going, oh, I want a terabyte, and then selling that to get a terabyte. Instead of just stockpiling memory sticks, which I don't want to do. I don't want to have stacks of PS2 memory sticks. I'd rather just have this expansions thing that I could just put my own M.2 in. And if I want, I can just erase it and sell the M.2. It's an SSD. It's going to sell somewhere, some way, somehow. Or say that I'm finally done with the expansions for Xbox. There's only a few things I want to use it for. I can take that M.2 and put it in my computer and just fucking use it. Right? So that 1 terabyte useless thing I have for my Xbox is now useful for me. It's 1 terabyte of storage on my computer. Why is that not a thing? It's more user-friendly. In the long run, Xbox doesn't have the bad PR press that comes with it. It gives their hardware more resell, because it allows you to have this component that you can put any M.2 in. Say M.2s get a lot faster. Say that changes the speeds in the Xbox, excuse me, Series X. And say Xbox, say they didn't, say they wanted to even adjust this a little more. I'll even adjust it a little more for you, Xbox. For Microsoft. Cocksuckers. Stupid fucking people. I'll simplify it for you. You could have still done that the extra expansion block for $50. Then partnered with Seagate for their own M.2 that works better with that expansion slot made by you and Seagate together. And then they can come out with their own 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, not meant for computers, only meant for Xbox. They're slightly cheaper because they're only meant for gaming. SSDs. They will sell like fucking hotcakes. They would make you and Seagate more money. They would have made you guys so much more money than this. Because if you're selling these for $100 to $150, but people buy them at a 1 to 10 ratio, versus you're selling this $50 expansion slot and then letting people buy their own PCIe Gen 4, Gen 3 NVMEs. Well, what if people buy that expansion slot 10 to 15 to 20 times more than they buy these SSDs? Profit-wise, doesn't that net you more? I mean, essentially, this $50 expansion block is a $10 PCIe expansion that you would get for a computer, right? So you're profiting a ton on that hardware. So why do you need to profit as much on the storage? You don't even need to spend all of the energy and all of the effort it took to make these fucking memory slots. You didn't even need to do that. You just needed to make this fucking little expansion block for us to put it in. What would have been great? For you to make an Xbox Series X Max, or Pro, or Ultra, or KO, or TI Gaming X Supered, whatever you wanted to call it, and just put an extra NVMe open slot for you to fucking put something in. That's it. PS5? Sony, take my idea. Make your own. Or better yet, when you do your mid-gen refreshes in a year or two, to have a slim model and a more pro model for the RDNA 2 that you definitely want to get into a PS5, not your 1.5 BS. Make a PS5 that just has an extra slot for storage. That's it. However much money it takes, I don't care. If you do that, you undercut Xbox completely. There is no reason to buy it. None. So Sony, please take my idea. Please, because I don't want to, I want to have a better experience at my PlayStation 5. And Sony, I hope that you do this to show Microsoft that they need to get this shit together. They can't be dicking around doing stupid bullshit like this. You know, and Microsoft has at every turn fucked up in some way. All of their conferences suck. They suck such dick. What was the most enjoyable part? The most enjoyable part of any of their conferences, I'd say, is probably Halo Infinite. I would say, because the gameplay looked fine. Didn't look good. Gameplay looked fine. You know, but on every turn, Microsoft is just fucking up. And this is just another example of incompetency. Like Halo was meant to be delayed before that they even released that fucking Halo Infinite trailer, the gameplay trailer. Before they had that conference, they knew the game was going to be delayed. They prepared to delay the game. They indefinitely just had no idea when or how long or exactly what needed to be done, but they knew the game needed to be delayed. Because all that they knew, if they just saw screen gameplay to gameplay, that the game looked worse than Halo 5. That's all that they knew. That's all that anybody knew. They didn't know maybe how people would be affected by the open worldness. They didn't know how people might not like the character models, or, oh, you know what? Actually, I like the updated designs for enemies. They look good. Hey, you know what? I like the grappling hook. Oh, you can find more stuff like that and more environmental stuff. Oh, okay, oh, I like the look of the Warhog. I like the way it looks like it's running right now. Hey, the gameplay looks good. They had no idea what the fans wanted from that until they released it. But they knew it was going to be delayed indefinitely. And they've been spouting for like the last year that Halo will be a launch title, Halo will be a launch title, and they knew before that fucking conference came out that it wasn't going to be a launch title. They fucking knew. And at every turn, they're just showing levels of incompetency I just don't understand from a company that big. And people who should have their shit together. They're literally having every possible fucking thing that could go wrong. But they have enough stuff that's doing good to have people defend like, well, the system's going to be powerful. Well, the Game Pass is a good thing for gamers. It's like, okay, yeah, these things that you can say are not, it's not true. But then you can't dismiss that this SSD is a botched, horrible fucking thing. You can't say that as far as Microsoft is concerned. From Microsoft's perspective, for their hardware, the Game Pass was the worst thing they could have possibly done, especially with the leaks of it being around $5.99. If it's really not $5.99, if it's really $3.99, all right, we have a closer competition until you get to SSDs, and then I don't think it's like worth it at all. If I'm going to buy a laptop that has its SSD and its RAM soldered into the board versus one that doesn't, I don't want the one that's soldered into the board. I want the one that I can change shit out of. Why? It's just user friendly. It doesn't mean anything. Does it need to be soldered to the board? No. Maybe in certain cases, maybe they can make the argument that for like Apple, they want their RAM soldered to the board. Fine, it's a greedy move. I get it, but they should admit it. No one at Microsoft has come out and said that this SSD, they're spouting this SSD like it's a great thing. It's not. It's terrible. It's absolute dog shit. And especially with this leaked price. If the Series X was $399, we can have an argument. And the Series S, don't even get me started on the Series S. It's digital. It's weaker than the Xbox. It might be the same price as a PS5 digital, which they're not comparable systems. It's like comparing Stadia to a Nintendo Switch. You can't compare them. Oh, but the Game Pass is gonna... I don't care what the Game Pass does for gamers. I'm talking about Microsoft. Microsoft fucked their own system. They don't have innovation with their controllers. They haven't shown us... what's the date? 8/18? They're supposed to be out in November. We don't know what the UI looks like at all. We don't know what their share... Oh, they have a share button now. My PS4 is a share button. So, what does a share button do? Record videos? A live stream? Okay. But where am I going to put all those videos? Where am I going to put those live streams? Do I need a computer that has nothing but storage to hold all of that stuff? Can the Xbox communicate with my computer? Can I literally just transfer through xCloud? Can I literally just transfer those fucking videos from the Series X that I recorded and live streamed and edited and everything? Can I transfer them over to a computer? I can. Okay. I can't. Those are answers we need. You can't say an Xbox is better than PS5 or PS5 is better than that until we have all these answers. And Xbox has done a good thing of showing us all of the good things, but they're hiding everything else. They're hiding the Series S. Why? Well, I want to see how the Series S runs. Can it do 120 frames? Not 4K, 1080p? For a decent amount of game, for literally any Xbox One game, can it do that? These are questions that they don't want to answer to us. Sony, is there backwards compatibility? What's the extent of backwards compatibility? We don't know. What's your UI look like? What's the exact specs on running a third-party game from say same game? Say we're gonna run what's the list queue out? Fall Guys. Because that's next gen. Ghost of Tsushima. I want to see what Ghost of Tsushima runs. I want to see how it runs on a PS5. I want to see what Final Fantasy VII Remake runs on a PS5. Show me that. Until then, we don't have a definitive answer of who's better than what. But Microsoft is doing everything to shoot themselves in the foot. And with the leak that the Series X might actually really be $599, that's the hollow tip bullet. And they just have the gun aimed at their head at this point. And they're literally putting the handle in Sony's hands and saying, hey, you pull the trigger when you're ready. So if Sony comes out with like a PS Now Game Pass type of thing, it doesn't do anything really. It makes PC gamers happier. It maybe makes PS Now people happier if there's a change in price or if there's more games that are going to be added, especially first-party Sony exclusives. Does them aggressively pricing their system matter? Well, as long as it's less than $499, as long as it's $499 or less for the non-digital version, for the disc version of the PS5, it could be $399. That would be great. That would mean that I would pick one up sooner. It wouldn't mean that I'm picking one up or not. But the Series X being $499 or $599, sorry, being $400 or $600, that might mean me picking up a Series X or not. Especially if the PS5 is priced aggressively, and if the Series S is only $299, and it's kind of like, well, what do I need the Series X for? So I don't know. I think Microsoft's really, really, really in some real fucking trouble. And they're only going to make up with it with the Game Pass subscriptions. And to further reiterate my point, I'm just going to compare a PC to an Xbox again for comparison. If I want to have an Xbox and play Xbox games through the Game Pass, or I want to have my PC and play the games through the Game Pass through there, the thing is you have to pay for live. I'm sorry, guys. That's a game. That's it. If there's no exclusives and you have to pay a subscription just to play online, and I can't even use this thing that's basically a computer, like a computer, why do I pay $600 for a Series X? Why would I not just buy a $600 computer? Then I can put more storage in it when I fucking want for the price that I want. You know what? Fuck an SSD. I just want to have a lot of storage. I'm going to buy a fucking 4 terabyte Seagate hard drive, Barracuda, for like $60. Fuck it. I have my own options. I want to do that. Or I want to spend less money for an SSD than you're going to spend for your system that already can't do what my computer can do or what a computer can do. So I think they really shot themselves in the foot. And I really think that they're just on the wrong fucking track. And if this is the future of Microsoft as a company, as far as their gaming side goes, goddamn, I'm really, really not looking forward to them. And I'm so glad that I'm getting more over to PC gaming. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Have a nice one.